Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing all the books I read in the month of August. August was a really good reading month for me, in my opinion. I had so much fun reading all the books I read, and I was just like the complete opposite of a reading slump. I was just really enjoying picking up books and getting through them. It was so fun. There were so many books I read just within a couple days because I was obsessed. So like, this is gonna be a great wrap up. The first book I read in the month of August was AntiDarkened by Kirsten White. I gave this book 3.5 stars, which pretty much means I enjoyed it and I had some favorite parts in it, but it wasn't like a favorite. It didn't reach that next level, but I enjoyed it and I did have a couple of favorite parts in the book, so that's not a bad rating. It's just not a spectacular rating. This book is about a girl named Lada and her brother Radu. Lada is really rough around the edges. She has like a horrible father. Her mother's pretty much not in the picture, and her brother is super adorable but weak. And she is from Wallachia. Her father is Prince Warden, something like that, of their land, but then some things go down with the Ottoman Empire and her and her brother are taken as war prisoners. So it follows the story from there and how they navigate being a part of that different world with the Ottomans, who are Muslim, or supposed to be anyway, in the book. So although I did enjoy it, I found the story pretty compelling and all of that. Some of the Muslim representation really made me cringe. Like, some of the things that the Muslim characters were doing was just like, are you okay? It was just like, I don't want to say it's bad representation because I don't know how the Ottomans were. I don't know how religious they were or how much they just instead followed their whims and did what they wanted to do. The whole thing with the Sultan, is it called a Sultan? I believe Mehmed is the Sultan or something like that. But the whole thing with him having like all these women, a harem, and just going and enjoying them as he pleases and all this stuff, like, that's not even part of Islam, like, at all. Like, there's so many ways I could debunk that, but at the same time I do understand that Muslims aren't always, like, they don't always do right, and I could also understand how a Muslim in power could take advantage of that power and not follow Islam in that regard. I don't know, maybe they did have like all these women in their harems and they did whatever they wanted with them, but I just kind of was like, ugh. And then I thought it was funny, there was like part of the book where the characters were like going to make wudu, but it wasn't really described. It was pretty much just described as them washing their hands. And if you don't know what wudu is, it's how we clean ourselves before prayer. So we like wash our hands, arms, faces, nose, mouth, ears, feet, etc. So I just kind of thought that was funny. I will say though that I feel like the author did a good job of showing how everyone from any religion could be good or bad, and also giving some beauty to Islam in the sense of the peace that it gives some people, and how it is not a religion that makes a person bad. It's who the person is as a person, and I just appreciated that message. I did enjoy it a lot. It's just that I'm not like a huge historical fiction buff. This is one of the better historical fiction books that I've read, so that could have attributed to my enjoyment of the book. I enjoyed it. We'll see how the next book kind of works out for me. The next book I read in the month of August was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This book ended up being pretty good. I did enjoy it a good bit. This book is about a girl named Laya, and she witnesses her brother being taken and imprisoned for something he took from the empire, and she will do anything to get him back. So she joins the resistance and makes a bargain with them that if she helps them and spies for them, they will help her brother and free him. I actually didn't put my star rating in here, hold on, which is surprising because I always do that. So on Goodreads it says 4, but I think I did give this a 3.75 stars. I did enjoy it. I thought the world was very immersive and interesting. I liked how the world bordered on completely believing in magic and just completely not believing it at all. How there are people who didn't believe, and then there's like the fact that magic actually exists in this world and other beings exist in this world. It was just really intriguing, that whole concept. I enjoyed the characters. I thought Laya was a interesting character to follow, and I feel like her voice in the book is very weak, but technically she's strong because of the things that she went through in this book. Like, there were so many moments when I was reading this book and I was just like, sis, are you okay? Like, do you need us to send help because they are jacking you up? Like, but I kind of also like that it didn't hold back from that, because a lot of time when people are enslaved, they are mistreated. So yeah, for whatever reason, I'm so torn on whether I like Elias or not. Helene, I did like her, and then she said some like weird stuff and I was like, I thought I stand, but I'm not sure I stand. So we'll see how that works out later. The next book I completed in the month of August was Becoming by Michelle Obama. This book was absolutely spectacular. 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 5 stars. This book was just so good to me, and I feel like I read it at the perfect time in my life where I needed it. And like, Michelle Obama, like, I thought I loved Michelle Obama before I read this book, but after reading this book, she is an absolute queen, and I just love her so much. Her writing is just so amazing. Her storytelling is so amazing. Everything that she opened up about in this book was amazing. I don't know, it just really spoke to me. Like, this is one of those books that kind of changed my life, I feel like, because it was just such a reassurance for me. I don't even know how to express it, but it was just such a reassurance for me. And I got actually really emotional a couple times reading this book, and it was so funny because when, like, the moment when she's talking about Barack getting elected for president, I got emotional like it was happening again. And I got emotional because obviously he was the first Black president of the United States, and she became the first Black lady, what? The first lady who was Black, and it was just monumental. And I think that's why I got emotional, because I remember back in 2008 when all this happened. I remember being at school, and school just completely got, like, they were like, forget lessons and classes, we're all gonna sit in the auditorium and watch the president of the United States get elected into office. And we all just sat together and watched this historical moment for America. And it was just like, I just remember that feeling like, whoa, like, you know, after learning about all these white presidents and white first ladies, we actually had Black people in the White House who were running this country. And it was just like, it was just a moment, you know? So I don't know, just Michelle Obama means a lot to me. I'm rambling. I annotated the crap out of this book. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I lived for it. Like, Michelle Obama didn't just take the time to write her life story. She took the time to give us some wisdom and some guidance from her own experiences, and I appreciate that so freaking much. If you don't get it by now, I really enjoyed this book, and I actually did read this physically and through audiobook. The audiobook is amazing. Michelle Obama narrates it, and it's just wonderful. It enhances the experience tenfold, so I definitely recommend the audiobook as well. So the next book I read in the month of August was Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali, and this is the Muslim rep I've been looking for. Okay, if you want to see, I guess, more of what Muslims are like in a day-to-day, I'd say this is the closest I've read to what my own life is kind of like, or how I behave, or how I incorporate my religion into my daily life. Like, this book is that, and I feel like it's super easy for you to read. It's not preachy, it's just like they're Muslim and that's a fact, like, you know what I'm saying? So this book is about Zainab and Adam. They meet pretty much in this fated encounter in the airport, and one of them realizes that they both keep the same journal. They have these journals where they record marvels and oddities, and it's crazy just because they both found the same inspiration from the same art piece that inspired their journals. So literally this little fated encounter leads to them crossing paths time and time again. And pretty much they're both going to Doha, and Zainab was suspended from school for standing up to an Islamophobic teacher, and Adam is there on spring break, and Adam is hiding like this really big secret from his family, the fact that he has multiple sclerosis, and it's the same disease that killed his mom. So yes, this book was definitely 5 out of 5 stars for me. I loved it so freaking much. It actually made me cry. Like, I actually cried tears. I love Adam so much. He's precious. I will admit there was one part in the book where Zainab kind of pissed me off a little bit. Like, I understand her anger and everything like that, but I just felt like she took it a little too far. On the other hand, I did relate a lot to Zainab's anger and her observations of how white people get to enjoy the simple pleasures of their actions being deemed innocent, instead of every little thing they do being turned against them in their race or their religion or etc. I just really understood Zainab's anger, and just her as a character, Adam as a character. I understood why at times she felt upset because Adam couldn't understand what it's like to wear your religion on your head and everyone knows that you're Muslim, because he can easily pass as not being Muslim. Like, a lot of Muslim guys can easily pass as not being Muslim, and they don't really understand what it's like to be a Muslim woman and you walk around wearing your faith right on your sleeve, you know what I'm saying? So they were really adorable. I love this book so much. I definitely recommend it if you feel like you're Muslim and you can never find a book that has decent Muslim representation. This one does, okay? I could ramble forever about this book. The next book I read was this manga, Satoko and Nada. This is a manga about 2 girls. One is Japanese, one is Saudi Arabian, and they are foreign exchange students in America, and they end up bunking up together and sharing a room and just experiencing each other's culture and foods and just opening each other's eyes to new experiences. This was a really cute manga. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get the second installment. It was just super adorable. Satoko and Nada's relationship is just super adorable. They're so cute together and they make great friends, and I like how it's just like a bunch of little cut scenes between them. It was really cute. I gave this manga 4 stars because I just enjoyed it so much. I just loved it. I loved it. It was really adorable, really short and sweet read that you could finish literally probably in like 30 minutes maybe or less. Oh y'all, my leg is going to sleep. The next book I read in the month of August was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This book is literally now a favorite of all time for me. I've had time to simmer and think about it, and I just love it so much. So Sorcery of Thorns follows a girl named Elizabeth, and she is an orphan who has grown up in one of the great libraries in this kingdom. And in these libraries there are grimoires, and all of these books have their own personalities. Some of them talk, some of them don't talk, some make noises, things like that. And each book has to be specially cared for, maybe stroked or complimented or things like that. Elizabeth wants to become a warden, which is like a pretty much super librarian, but then something horrible happens with one of the grimoires, because the grimoires, if they're not treated well or something happens to them, they can turn into malefics, which are like these evil beings or angry beings, I don't know. But this book was just everything in a bag of chips. Like, I loved it so much. I love that I've never really read about a tall main character, and Elizabeth is a tall main character. I mean, obviously I'm not tall, I'm very short. I'm like 5'2", so this doesn't apply to me. I thought that was cool. She was a tall girl. I just absolutely love Nathaniel so much. He was just absolutely adorable. And okay, so I guess adorable isn't the right description, but his sarcasm and just like the way he talks to Elizabeth, I don't know how to explain it, but I just love Nathaniel so freaking much. Silas, do not get me started on Silas. Silas is everything. Okay, Silas is everything. But yes, if you couldn't tell, I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it so much. It was amazing. I'm noticing that my favorite books of all times are starting to have to do with like libraries and books being in them. Cause like Strange the Dreamer is one of my favorite books of all time. And it has to do with libraries and a librarian, well, initially. So I think that really pulls me in. I love books, and for whatever reason I love reading books about books. So 5 out of 5 stars. I read it in 2 days, which is very unusual for me, and I loved it so much. And the next book I read in the month of August was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which I enjoyed so much. Of course, 5 out of 5 stars. Harry Potter is a wizard. If you didn't know, he's a wizard. Like, this book was absolutely just everything I knew it would be. Rereading it was such a lovely experience. I would read some and then watch some of the movie, and it's a weird way to do it, but I actually really enjoyed like nitpicking the movie and realizing what's different in the books and all of those things. And it was just like an amazing experience. I even noticed some things I never noticed, like how mean Snape was and how mean Ron and Harry were to Hermione before they became friends. Ugh, the Dursleys, awful, terrible. They're like so awful. They needed social workers, somebody called on them a long time ago, because the way they treat Harry was awful. But yeah, I'm super excited to continue with the series. I just love Harry Potter. Like, I got so many like fluttery feelings in my heart reading this and rewatching the movie. It was just great. Like, I really enjoyed the whole experience so much. And the last thing I read in the month of August was this comic book, Superman and Wonder Woman Volume 1 Power Couple. I actually realized from reading this that I really ship Wonder Woman and Superman. Like, I definitely ship it way more than Wonder Woman and Batman, definitely. But then again, I'm biased because I freaking love Superman. Like, Superman is one of my favorite superheroes, point blank, in the period. When I was growing up, like, people had Spider-Man, I had Superman. Superman and Wolverine were my favorites. I don't know why. Let's not forget Storm, but that's a whole nother thing. I guess like 3 stars, 3.5 maybe. I did enjoy it a lot. The artwork was really nice, and they're like so cute together, TBH. I don't know, like, it wasn't spectacular to me, but I really did enjoy it though. So yeah, I give it like 3 stars, 3.5 stars if I'm being more generous. Maybe I'll say 3.5 stars since I really do ship them. And I think I'd probably read the second volume if I can find it anywhere. I got this one for literally $2, so I don't know if I can beat that, but I really enjoyed it, especially the art. The art was like really good. Like, look at them. Can they stop? that is the 8 books that I read in the month of August. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and me rambling about these books. I've really had a great reading month and I can't wait for September. I'm really worried because I'm going to start work in a couple days, so that's kind of going to hinder my reading time. But I'm still hype. I'm still ready for this month, and my birthday is going to be soon. September the 9th. We stand as September babies. But yeah, if you're a September baby, comment down below because we gotta stick together. Yeah, but I'm super excited for my birthday, even though I'll be getting older. I'll be turning 23 and I'm hype. We're hype. Yes, yes, yes. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and keep reading. Bye.